Page 3 from the chapter 1 notes. This is given as g of x, and we want g of m. So if I wanted g of 1, wherever I see an x, I plug in 1. If I want g of m, I'm just going to replace x with m. So it's just an expression answer. I would leave it like this. You're just replacing wherever you see an x with an m. D, h of a minus 2. Wherever you see an x, you're inputting a minus 2. Carefully. And to get this right, you're going to have to either FOIL, or if you guys don't like the word FOIL, we're going to make a box. A minus 2 squared means you have 2a minus 2's. Like this. So a minus 2 times a minus 2. If you want to make a box, if that's easier for people, you can do one of these. And then you would just work this out. That is a squared negative 2a, negative 2a, and positive 4. So if I combine like terms, I get a squared minus 4a plus 4. And then if we distribute and combine like terms, we'll have h of a minus 2. So I'm going to distribute the 2 by each term. Here, this is like a negative 1 in front that I'm going to distribute. And then I can combine like terms. So I get 2a squared minus 9a plus 13. That would be D. All right, interval notation. Here's what interval notation means. We've done problems earlier, like we had a domain answer, all reals. If we use interval notation, we can call that negative infinity to infinity. That means all reals. And we also had an answer y was less than or equal to 0. So if we use interval notation, we can write it like this. Negative infinity to 0, and we are going to include 0. So if we're including it, we use brackets. So on the rest of this page, we're going to talk more about interval notation. So here it says closed interval from A to B. That looks like this. We're going to include A and B and shade in between. So what's most common is interval notation, and we just go from left to right. Since we're including both of these, we would just write it A to B including. That's what the brackets tell us. Set notation means all values are between A and B. This is not as common, but we can write it as a double inequality. A is less than or equal to X, and X is less than or equal to B. So this is interval notation. This is set notation. Next one says an open interval from A to B. Open interval means we're not including those values, and we're going to shade in between. So interval notation means since we're not including those, I use parentheses. And a set notation means since we're not including these, it's just X is between A is less than X, which is less than B. Half open interval from A to B, including A. So here's A and B. If we're including A, I'm going to shade A in. If I'm not including B, I'll use parentheses. And if I shade in between, I can write it like this. You always write your answer from left to right on the number line. I would say bracket A, comma, B, parentheses. In set notation, we would include A. So A is less than or equal to X, which is less than B. And we wouldn't include that. Closed infinite intervals mean this. If it's infinite, like I would include A, and let's say I'm shading completely to the left. So in interval notation, I can write it like this, negative infinity, comma A, bracket. And with infinity and negative infinity, we never use brackets because infinity is where numbers approach. So that's why you don't include infinity or negative infinity. And in set notation, we could just say X is less than or equal to A. Open infinite interval might look like this. A with an open circle shading to the right. I can say parentheses A comma infinity, because we're not including either infinity or A, and in set notation, it'd be x is greater than A. These are the notes from page 3 from chapter 1.